Aries usually moves too fast for introspection. As the first sign of the zodiac, your default setting is action, hitting the ground running and keeping your internal struggles tucked away where no one can see them. But this April, the sky forces you into a period of total visibility. You are entering a stellium, a rare event where a massive cluster of planets all gather in a single sign. Think of it as a cosmic traffic jam that concentrates an overwhelming amount of energy into one specific area of your life. This layout represents your first house, the sector that rules your physical body, your face, and your immediate identity. Watch as Saturn, Neptune, Mars, and Mercury all push into this single room. This is your house of self, and right now it is incredibly crowded. This concentration of energy means you cannot hide anything this month. Every thought, every old scar, and every internal conflict is being pushed to the surface where the world can see it. For Aries, this total exposure is the specific mechanism that allows for real repair. The month begins with the people standing directly opposite you. From April 1st to the 6th, the focus is on your 7th house, the sector of partnerships and how you appear in the eyes of others. You'll feel a sharp tension between your 2nd house of money and values and your 11th house of friends and groups. On the 4th, you might find yourself latching on to a possession or a priority with fanatical intensity, only for your social circle to question your motives. The full moon on April 2nd illuminates exactly who you are when someone else is watching. You are forced to answer a difficult question. How much room do you actually give yourself inside your own life, especially when the demands of your household or your partners start to pile up? This entire week acts as a mirror. It isn't about conflict for the sake of it, it's about clarification. By seeing yourself through the eyes of others, you get to decide which parts of your identity are worth keeping and which boundaries need to be reinforced. Between April 7th and 13th, your ruling planet, Mars, finally returns to your sign. Usually this provides the physical strength and will you need to charge ahead. But the first house isn't empty. Mars hits the Neptune fog already sitting there, and your forward momentum instantly stalls. It's like trying to run through waist-high water. Your energy spills and loses focus, leaking through your fingers. Physically, this manifests as paralyzed initiative. You may feel your drive go quiet, or your body might become susceptible to infections and temperature spikes. You want to act, but you find yourself doing nothing, a state that is uniquely frustrating for an Aries. This is a lesson in the discipline of waiting. If you stop pushing against the fog and simply surrender to the stillness, you give your intuition room to find answers that your intellect would have missed in its rush to move forward. On April 15th, Mercury joins the crowd in your first house. Now every thought and every internal confusion is written plainly on your face for everyone to see. On the 16th, the Sun touches Chiron, the asteroid of the wounded healer, in your sign. This pulls an old internal psychological hurt onto the physical surface. It might show up in your walk, your expression, or how you interact with the world, making an old insecurity visible to everyone around you. The new moon on the 17th arrives in the middle of this confusion. Documents go missing, emails bounce back, and contracts blur. Do not sign anything today. The risk of misjudgment is too high. Instead, write down your dreams. They are likely more precise than your logic right now. There is a practical benefit to this exposure. Because the wound is no longer hidden, you are forced to face it. The research reminds us that what is seen can be addressed, and what is addressed can finally begin to mend. The window between April 18th and 24th is the most physically demanding part of the month. You are dealing with a sensation of being simultaneously pushed and restrained. Your ruler, Mars, hits the wall of Saturn on the 19th. It's throttle and brake at the same time. You'll feel deep fatigue and physical limits. Don't force through resistance. By the 23rd, Uranus triggers a sudden heightening of the senses. This often results in unexpected income or a sharp turn in what you value. This is the final pulse of its kind in your 2nd house, marking the end of a long era of financial unpredictability. Think of this week as hard labor. The frustration you feel isn't a sign of failure. It's a signal that your raw strength is searching for a more disciplined shape. Success here comes through endurance and precision, never through a shortcut. The final 6 days of the month mark a transition you haven't seen in 7 years. The volatile energy that has been shaking up your finances is finally moving on. On April 26th, Uranus leaves your second house for good. The era of upheaval regarding your money and your sense of self-worth is officially over. As Uranus enters your third house, it begins a new 7-year cycle focused on how you think, learn, and speak. For an Aries, who is usually faster in action than in words, this initiates a quiet revolution in your communication style. You're trading impulsive physical rebellion for intellectual power. By the end of the month, a simple word can clarify what your identity had previously blurred. You are learning to connect with your community in a way that is both deeper and more strategic. April closes with a karmic signal from your 12th house, the sector of the hidden mind. Something from your unconscious is trying to show you exactly which way to move forward into the coming months. May and June will look very different. As the planets begin to leave your sign, Jupiter moves into Leo, replacing the heavy physical friction you felt this month with a long period of expansive creativity, romance, and joy. But that joy is earned through the exposure you faced this April. The stelliality of your first house made it impossible to keep your flaws or your wounds in the dark. You were forced to be seen exactly as you are. By facing the fog of Neptune and the discipline of Saturn, you've brought your identity to the surface. You end the month wearing your history as a banner, proving that when an Aries is brave enough to be fully seen, they are finally in a position to mend.